We are back live. So it is our back night. And you guys are going to be able to get to see some of the ugliest form on the internet when it comes to doing back work. I'm going to show you guys how to just grip and rip. This is not going to be anything close to the imagination of what good form is. This is just me trying to heave as much weight as I possibly can for as many reps as I can get. Going to be using a lot of body English. In fact, you can call this Body English 101. What I'm doing here is my warm-ups. I'm gonna do a couple reps, jumping 20 pounds a go, warming up to my working weight for this movement here. I'm going up to 200, so I'm maxing the stack out tonight. So right here, this is just like a warm-up and like a little filler, just to kind of get my muscles ready for the work to come. I'm gonna show you guys, like I said, man, some ugly form. Gonna be a whole lot of gripping and ripping. I need to go get something to, because I forgot to turn the air back up yesterday. I need to go get something to time my sets, actually. I go get an iPad from inside. I will be right back. 1 second. Okay, got a tablet so I can time my sets. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of gripping and ripping tonight. I'm going to show you guys what some true testosterone-driven ugly form is about. I'm not trying to set no records on form. This is okay. As you can see, Richard's luscious, physically perfection fit frame of lusciousness is ready to go and heave some heavy loads. You're going to do sets of 10. Yeah, 5 sets of 10. Okay. Now, what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm doing 5 sets of 20 reps. So we just did our warm-ups, which is basically 5-6 sets going 20 pounds a jump without a break until we got to our top set, which is 200 pounds. And now we're going to do 5 sets of 20 reps with 200 pounds. I don't care about the form. I just care about the reps. I'll worry about form later down the road, but right now I'm just trying to heave as much weight as I could possibly heave and as much weight as I can. So as the beginning of it starts, the form is going to be okay, but as we move on, the form is going to be nasty. And I think, if I remember correctly, grunting adds like 10% plus strength. So you might hear a lot of that too. So I'll rest 2 minutes, and we'll hit it again. Everything I do is 2 minutes. Sometimes I'll rest under 2 minutes. I'll rest maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds a minute. It just depends on how light the movement is, how easy the movement is, how tired I am that day. But typically speaking, well, I couldn't hear you, what? Oh. Oh, hello though, Cherry. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by and checking us out. 2 fat guys in 1 bar. So right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to increase my workload and my volume. So the whole concept is, now let me get this out the way. I like science-based training. I love science. I love all the studies and all the things that go into it. But me personally, right now I'm trying to increase workload. So doing slow, controlled, deep stretch with a hold and a pull, I might have to use a lot lighter weight, and I'm not going to be able to get as much volume in. So for instance, 200-pound stack, if you do that for 10, that's what, 2,000 pounds worth of workload? So if I do it for 20, that's 4,000 pounds worth of workload. The only reason why you go slow with a pause and a hold and a stretch is because you're trying to increase time under tension. So if you do a set of 10 slow versus a set of 20 fast, time under tension's not really that big of a difference, but the difference is 2,000 pounds worth of workload more and 20 more reps worth of volume. And right now I'm trying to build up workload and capacity. And I can't do that with that other style training. It has its place, and I do train like that for periodic moments of the year. But for right now, I'm trying to build up as much strength as I can, trying to get dense and strong so I can move heavy weight for more reps. There's a 2-minute mark. Now the goal is 20, but I'm obviously not going to be able to get 20. Last week I did 190 for 20 for all 5 sets. This week it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to hit that because I wasn't able to hit my chest on every rep. I'm still going to count it as 20, but I know the reps are going to fall quickly. So whatever I get with this right here, like I said, the goal is 5 sets of 20. If I don't hit 20 on all 5 reps, well sets, I'll use this weight again until I can get 20 all the way across the board. If I don't hit 20, the rep that I fell on, let's say I fell at 15 reps, next time I come in and train, the goal is to get at least 16. And if you do 20, 20, 20, 20, 16, next week the goal will be 20, 20, 20, 20, 17 at least. Progressive overload. Thank everybody for joining. Yes, it is horrible form. That's exactly the point. That's what I said earlier. I know it's bad form. I said we're just going to be gripping and ripping today. We're not focusing on form. We're just wanting to move a lot of weight. Yep, it is a grind, that's for sure. Appreciate you stopping in and checking out. I like both. It just depends. So whenever I'm doing my training for grips, I like to do all 3 grip variations whenever I'm training, especially for strength. I like to go with a wide grip, I like to go with a medium grip, and then I like to go with a close grip with everything I do when it comes to back training, because you have 3 different angles of position. You know, when you go wide, you hit more of the middle. You come in more neutral, you'll hit more kind of, depends on where you put your elbows, honestly. If you flare your elbows out, you're gonna get more center. If you tuck your elbows in, you're gonna get more lat spread. But I like to do all 3 positions. So I start with a wide grip pull down, I'll do that, and then I move to a barbell row with a neutral grip, and then I move to a T-bar row with a close grip. So I get all 3 movements. I also do close grip pull downs at some point in the year, but right now with my training, I'm not doing any close grip pull downs, but I am doing T-bar rows. So I like to do all 3 variations of all 3 grips with different styles of pulls. All right, let's see what I get here. Gripping and ripping, guys, ugly form. Man. Whew. Those reps came down quick. That was only 12. Could have kept going, but once I can't complete the rep, I call it at that. I don't care how ugly it is. As long as it comes down close enough, I count it, but it is what it is. To figure out your lats, if you want wider lats, tuck the elbows. So if you bring the elbows out, you're going to get more between. If you flare the elbows out, you're going to get more in here. If you tuck your elbows, you're going to get more here. So with every variation, if you're doing close grip pull downs, tuck the elbow, don't flare it. If you're doing seated cable rows, tuck the elbow, don't flare it. If you pull up here versus down here nice and tight, it feels night and day different. So if you want to get wide, your elbows come in narrow. If you want to build up back thickness, your elbows go out. So it's the opposite of what you're doing. And that 200 pounds definitely hits different. Ooh, and right now we are just gripping and ripping, guys. You're like a dog on the form if y'all want, but right now the goal is ultimately just to get as much rep and as much volume as we can. We got 2 more sets, and like I said, my 3rd set, I only got 12. So that's the number to beat with every set from here on out. But next week when I come in with the 200 pounds, the minimum I'm going to want to get is at least 13. You need to do seated cables next?
Huh? It doesn't say that. Oh, I guess it does.
Well, yeah, barbell rows, actually.
Well, I did this so.
Okay.
Is it the same? 5 for 20?
Yeah, 5 for 20. Man, 11. Another thing, when you're doing back work like this, and you're heaving and hoeing, don't try to pull to your chest, pull through. Try to pull through your chest. When you're doing barbell rows, don't pull it to you, pull it through you, like you're trying to go through you, and you'll drive with more power that way. Doing slow, controlled movements is great, like I said earlier. I do train like that for a good portion throughout the year, but right now, I'm trying to get as strong as I can. in a certain amount of time. So I'm gonna be lifting heavier loads with more reps, increasing my conditioning and my total workload. Because the other part of the year, I was doing slow, controlled, isometric hold squeezes and everything, but my strength just, it tanked. When I competed in powerlifting, the big thing was, it was just about total volume and workload. So if you can move 40,000 pounds worth of weight with your back, that's what you go for. It doesn't matter how you moved in or what movements you did, just get 40,000 pounds worth of movement in. That type of mindset of just overall workload, work capacity. So that's what I'm doing right now. We are just clanging and banging some weights today. Because a stronger muscle has the potential to be a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. But a lot of times too, a determining factor of how much weight you can lift for reps is conditioning. You can go slow and controlled with lighter weight and never breathe heavy and hard. You go heavier, it's going to recruit more energy to move heavier loads. You have to use more forceful output. So it attacks your endurance a little bit harder. So like, let's say if you're dumbbell pressing 75 pounds, right? And you could do it for 8, but it's not that you can't handle the load, it's your physical conditioning that lets you out. Because if you could do it for 8, the main thing that's holding you back is your conditioning. So the better your conditioning gets, the more you're able to do. There's gonna be someone out there like, oh, that's bro science. Yeah, kind of. All right, last set. Let me see what I get. Oh, 9. So I'm gonna rest pause this up to 20, but I'm only gonna count 9 reps. Since I got 9, like I said, next week I come in, 9 is the rep to beat across every set, but I'm gonna rest pause all the way up to 20, because this is my top set, so. Just about 6 breaths and then hit it again until you hit your reps. Okay, so I'm gonna mark down 200 for 9, even though the first 2 sets I got 20. So next week when I come in, I can either go 5 sets at 10 and I beat my reps or whatever. But what I like to do is get as many reps out the gate as I can doing sets of 20, and then your reps are gonna fall off. And then next week, you bring them up and bring them up and bring them up till everything's even. Then you go up in weight. The whole concept is like, if you do 3 warm-up sets, right? Let's say you're doing bench press and you do, a set of 10, then you go up in weight, then a set of 10, then you go up in weight, a set of 10, you go up in weight, a set of 10, you go up in weight. Then you do your top set and you do that 8 to 10. And you're like, okay, that's good. I'm gonna go do something else now. Well, how many times could you have replicated that? Could you have got that, let's just say 200 for 10? Could you have done that 2 more times? What about 3? What about 4? What about 5 more times? How many times could you have done that same weight with those same amount of reps? So that's not like your strength limit, that's your conditioning limit. Because obviously, if you did 4 reps versus 10 reps or 3 reps instead of 6 reps or 8 reps, you'd be able to do a lot more weight. So it's not that your muscles can't handle the load because they're strong enough, it's your conditioning and your overall conditioning that's letting you down. So if you can build your conditioning up by doing more sets of the same load, and it doesn't have to be sets of 3 to 5 like powerlifters, it could be a lot of sets, you'll be amazed at how fast the strength comes, how quickly you can build strength up by doing that, very quickly. And then if your game is strength, that is, but keep in mind, like my mindset is, if it's a stronger muscle, you take in consideration, okay, here's another thing too that blows my mind. If you're doing these real slow iso stretches, and you do 8 of those, right? You do 8 of those, versus doing, let's say the dumbbell press for like a set of 15 and a lot heavier loads. What do you think is gonna take you further, right? If you're moving it at a faster pace, you could get more reps, and it's easier to build reps. So if you're doing a heavy set of like 7 to 8 with a slow motion, how much harder is it gonna be to build one more rep versus going faster and getting a couple more reps, which then you increase your workload and it allows you to use more weights next time, which allows you to use more reps. You don't believe me, you never tried it, try it. And you'll get the results for yourself, and you'll be like, okay, this idiot kind of knows what he's talking about. Because the reason why I'm not worried about the form and how it looks is if you're doing let's say a 3 rep to 5 rep max, it's incredibly important to have perfect form because it's easier to get hurt. And then also, it's a lot harder to add weight to a 3 to 5 rep max. But a 15 to 20 rep max is a lot easier to add another rep every single week, every single week, every single week. You can add another rep. Incredibly easy, okay? Even if it's just one more rep, that's one more rep more than you would have got if you were moving slow, controlled, pause, static hold. Then once you build up to a certain amount of weight, you think of it like this. A guy who can dumbbell press 100-pound dumbbells for a set of 20 can do like dumbbell flies a lot lighter, or a lot heavier, and for a lot longer of a hold than a guy who could barely move the 50s for a set of like 5 to 6. Build your work capacity up. Then you can do more weight with more reps with more weight. The goal should always be to get strong. We're gonna do some barbell rows now. We're gonna go to this side of the gym. Oh, there's another side. Look at that. So these fat guys must really like gym equipment. We do, we really do. Let me get my clock over here. So now we're doing barbell rows, and we're gonna try to beat what we did last week. Now, on barbell rows, I don't do sets of 20. It's not that you can't. It's just barbell rows are incredibly difficult to get that much volume. So last week I did 155 for 15. So I'm going to go up this week to 165. I'm going to jump by 10 pounds from what I did last week. Yeah, like I said, I did 155 for 15. So this week, so on barbell rows, I do sets of 15. I'm going to do 5 sets of 15 with the same weight. Well, the goal is to do 5 sets of 15 with the same weight. And since I did it with 155 last week, I'm going to move up to 165. Now, the reason why with this is a lot lighter than the pull downs is because barbell rows is a lot harder. Now put a 25. I'm going to warm up into it. Put a 25. So I warm up into this. I'm going to do a couple warm-up sets just to get my hips and my back ready for the load. I don't just jump straight into it from one movement to the other on my top weight. Like, I still do warm-ups into my 5 working sets. So we're gonna burn through these really quick, and then we're gonna get up to that 165. And then when we hit that 165, that's when the real work begins. If you guys have a problem with your grip strength as well, there's a couple of things y'all can do. If your grip gives out from doing so much volume, a few things you can do is you could take 2 10-pound plates and pinch them together and hold them and spread your fingers as wide as you can. That'll build grip strength. If you could get a fat grip that goes over the bar, like a 2-inch fat grip, like something like this thick right here, that will build grip strength like crazy. And then just honestly doing like dumbbell holds, if you could get like a hex held dumbbell and hold those, that works a lot too. A big reason why a lot of people have grip strength is because also the way that their hands are built. Like if you have short, meaty fingers, like they're stubby and meaty, and with thick palms, you're always going to have a harder time with your grip than somebody who has long, skinny fingers. So like for me, I have very long, skinny fingers with thin palms. So I can wrap my hand around that barbell like nothing, like a hook grip and everything. If you can't do a hook grip, there's a high probability that your issue is your palms and your hands is why it's so hard to grab the bar. And all a hook grip is basically when you grab the barbell and you wrap your thumb under, and then you grab your thumb with your fingers, and that's a hook grip. And if you can't wrap your fingers over your thumb around the barbell, you have short fingers or thick, meaty palms, which makes it harder for you to grip the bar. Okay, this is going to be my last little warm-up set, then we're going to get into the work after this. All right, that's it for the filler sets. And we're going to be doing some work after this. Yeah, clanging and banging, guys. Clanging and banging, just gripping and ripping some weight. Just having fun. And that's the thing too, man. If you dread going to the gym and you hate being in there, you need to change up your routine where you're having fun. You put a lot more effort into it if you're having fun with your workouts. A lot more fun. Yeah, go to 165. And also too, the weight may not be heavy, but doing 5 sets of 15, the fatigue will catch you. And I'm not going to use these till I need them. I put the straps on, but I wait till my grip kind of starts to give out a little bit, and then I'll start wrapping the bar with my straps. I just want to make sure that my grip is capable of holding on, because I'm also like kind of powerlifting again. So when I'm doing deadlifts, I like to build a double overhand grip. And I try to take that as far as I can without doing a supinated grip with a switch grip over under. So if I can build my grip strength up through other movements, then I do that. I don't do any direct forearm work. All the forearm work I do is just by simply holding on to the bar as hard as I can. And then if you do need forearm work, like I said, using fat grips and doing stuff like that works really well. And also on these two, if you want to target more of your middle back, grab it wider. If you want to get more of the center of your lats and your lat spread, grab it more narrow. If you want to get more, I guess, lower lat or whatever, if you flip your hands upside down with a supinate and you row that way, it forces you to lose a lot lighter weight, but you're going to fill in your lats a lot harder. And you can contract it almost harder than you can with the overhand. But because I'm more worried about carryover to the deadlift, doing a double overhand in the position, the mid-knee position of the deadlift, is where I'm worried about building my strength up over my back. That's my biggest concern right now, is building up the strength in my back, which is important to me right now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're doing a lot better with your injuries, man. It's been a while since we talked. I haven't been on Skype since you and me stopped talking, actually, and I'm glad that everything on your knee and shoulder and forearm is doing a lot better, and all those everything that you're able to do to get it fixed. I'm really happy it all worked out. And then, yeah, I did strain my pec whenever I was closing a car window because the motor regulator went out, but it feels fine now. My pec actually feels way better than it has in a long, long time since surgery. And it's kind of almost back to feeling normal, to be honest. My pec hasn't felt normal since I had surgery on it and I tore the tendon completely off and separated it. But since 3.5 years ago, since I had surgery, I started getting, this year, kind of started dabbling a little bit more with strength training again and kind of testing the waters. And my pec's feeling a lot better, but I'm still treading on ice a little bit when it comes to pushing it too hard. I don't go too crazy on my chest just because I don't want to re-injure it. And it's just held together by scar tissue, but it is doing tremendously better. And I'm actually working on building back up to a 200-pound bench because I haven't actually benched in about 3.5 years because the surgery and the injury I had. But yeah, thanks for asking, man. Like I said, I'm really happy to hear that your knee and everything's doing well. I'm really happy, man. Injuries suck, man. Having aches and pains and being hurt and holding you back from training the way you want to train, that stuff sucks, man. It's hard. It's real hard. Oh man, there's a lot of people that say that doing barbell rows is going to damage your back and hurt you. It's a high risk movement and doing them's no point. Like you run a high risk of getting hurt. But honestly, I feel like barbell rows kind of like bulletproofs your back. Because if you could get strong in a weak position, then when you're in a bad position, you're going to be a lot safer. Like if you never train a weak position, when you do have to use it unexpectedly in life, that's a higher probability of getting hurt. But if you train weak areas and weak movements and things you're not good at to become good at and strong, the carryover is like tremendous for keeping you safe in real events in life, not just in the gym. Going too heavy too soon, yeah, you could get hurt, but play it safe and build into it, man. You know, it's easier to build strength and keep safe doing higher reps, even if you're, you know, clanging and banging and gripping and ripping. Let me get some water real quick. I normally don't talk between sets. I normally just sit around and breathe real heavy. So I could definitely feel the cardiovascular strain from trying to talk to you guys between my sets, but I like it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. 2 minutes between sets. 2 minutes between sets. And I'm gonna actually wrap up on this one. I didn't feel like my grip was giving out, but I don't wanna have to focus on my grip right now with this movement. I got Yeah, I don't ever use straps on T-bars, so that's another reason why I'm kind of trying to save my grip strength for those as well. A little bit more carryover. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Remember, grunting gives you +10 strength. So if you start feeling tired at the end of a set, getting some good grunts in there increases your strength by +10. And it's actually, they did a study on it way back then. I used to read Muscle and Fitness when that was still a big thing. And on Muscle and Fitness, there was a university that actually did a study. And it showed that guys that would grunt and scream during a strenuous set, whether it was for reps or for singles, had a stronger force output than those that wouldn't. So there is some science behind it. Yeah, appreciate it, man. And I am a lot leaner. Back whenever I was talking to you, I was around like 230, 245. Right now I'm sitting around 225. That's my current body weight. I'm 6 foot, and I'm sitting at 6 foot even actually, and I'm sitting at like I said, 225-ish in the mornings. Over the summer, I actually got down to 206, and that's the leanest I've been in a long time. I lost a lot of strength, I lost a lot of size, but I also lost a lot of body fat too, which is what my goal was. But now that I pulled out of that cut, I went to a maintenance phase for a couple of weeks, and I kind of just like teetered around and just kind of maintaining a little bit, put a little bit of weight back on, and then something just flipped a switch inside of me. Originally, I was going to do another cut until Thanksgiving, the end of November. But 3 weeks in, man, something just flipped a switch, and it was just like, no, let's just get strong, man. Let's just try to put some strength back on. So I'm trying to get stronger and bigger without increasing any body fat. I'm not necessarily trying to get bigger, but I am definitely trying to get stronger. And with that, I know will come with muscle mass, especially the way I train, because I am doing a powerlifting routine right now, but there's also a lot of fluff and puff on my powerlifting routine for hypertrophy. So I do put a lot of hypertrophy movement in there, because like I said, I'm a strong believer in a bigger muscle is always capable of being a stronger muscle. All right, come on, 15. Come on. Ooh, one more to go. And then we move to my ultimate favorite back workout ever, T-bar rows. I love T-bar rows, man. Oh, man. So I say thank you to everybody stopping by and checking the video out, man. If y'all have any questions, just ask. I mean, like I said, I know it's a little intimidating to have such a peak specimen here of absolute performance and peak output, but don't be shy, guys. Ask your questions. Ask away. We'll answer anything. I know he's luscious. I know. Like, there's no way I'm taking advice from these two fat dudes. Ain't no way. Yeah, so we're pretty much doing the same thing. Then you do the same thing I did. That's pretty cool. We're kind of on par with the same movements. Doing a 3-month cut during a 3-month cut with a deload week. That's good, man. I hope your bulk goes well too. Ooh, I need to go get the other tablet. Richard, can you run in and go get me the other tablet? This one's almost dead. Here, take this one and put it on a charger. Give me Atlas's. Thank you. I thought I grabbed the charged one, but I did not. I used my kids' tablets because I use my phone to record, and I use my kids' tablet to time, but I grabbed the one that was almost dead. I mean, I thought that one was charged, but it's all right. I got two more tablets inside. The benefit of having 3 kids, a lot more electronics. Okay, last one for 15. Then we move on to T-bars. And I do love me a good T-bar row. I try to keep the form somewhat strict on these, but I do pop a little bit on them. There it is. 5 sets of 15 with 165. So next week when I come in, I'll go up to 175 and try to get 15 reps with 175 for all 5 sets. It's always easier to build on reps than it is to build on weight. So if you use lighter weight with more reps, it's a lot easier to get stronger because your 15, 28 rep max will still carry over to your 1 rep max. If your 15 rep max goes up by 40 pounds, your 1 rep max isn't going to go up by 40 pounds, but it's still going to go up. You're going to have carryover. Yeah, I know. I need to open up the doors and let the house air out. Yeah, having weak hip flexors can definitely cause issues. If you're having like tight hips, doing deep tissue on the hips, the hip flexors and adductors, but also just getting them stronger, man. It's game changing if you've never squatted wide or if you've never trained them. So doing hip adductors, hip adductors, you know, the machine you sit down on and squeeze your legs together, that is a really good machine to build up those areas of weakness. There you go. Come on, man. Don't even act like it's heavy. All right. Now we're going to the other side of the gym to go do some T-bar rows. Come take a walk with me, guys. Come take a walk with me. Oh, look, the girls are here. Actually, see, maybe I'm gonna put it over here. Hold on, bear with me, guys. Sorry if I come this way, see a little bit more. A little better of an angle. Maybe I'll bring it in some. Yeah, I think that's gonna be good right there. All right. So now we're gonna be hitting some T-bar rows. Again, with these, I'm gonna do a slight warm-up. I'm gonna do about 5 reps, and then up weight, 5 reps, up weight, 5 reps, up weight, till I get to my top set. And then my top set, the goal is 5 for 15. Last week I didn't get 15, so I'm using the same weight I used last week. In fact, I don't even remember what I did last week, so I gotta go check it out. Let me go see what I did. Okay, 170 for 10. So I gotta try to get 170 for at least 11 for 5 sets of 11 tonight. So tonight the fight is on. It's definitely gonna be a fight. Every single rep. Ooh, man. Feeling good. Feeling real good. See, right now, fatigue's actually starting to set in a little bit, so my muscles are getting tired. My fatigue is setting in a little bit, but that's the whole point of doing so much volume is the conditioning. I think I drank about a gallon of water today, but I feel incredibly thirsty right now. Yeah, being sore for 3 days is pretty common when you start doing that thing, that's for sure. You do 30, no problem, that's awesome. Hey, you ain't gotta worry about no long message, man. I appreciate the comments. And thank you, I appreciate that too. All right. 170. This right here's 135. 345s is 135. So got this one, and I think after this one, we'll hit the working set. So this is the last warm up. Last warm up. Yeah, we did, it was 170, right? Is what I said? And I hope everybody's having a good night. I hope everybody's getting your gains and your results. I know we're pushing. That's right, we used a 35 last week, right? Yeah, we put a 35. And that's 170. All right. So I'm gonna rest 2 minutes, then I'm gonna start hitting my sets. So again, last week, my last set of T-bars, I got for 10. The goal is 15. So because I did 170, and honestly, like the way that I do my program is doing 5 sets with the same weight for the same amount of reps. If I hit 10 last week, technically today I could say, you know what, I'm just gonna do 5 sets of 11, and then next week I'll do 5 sets of 12, and then 5 sets of 13, and then 14, and then hit 15. But that's not my style. I like to push the envelope as hard as I can, so I'm gonna go for as many sets of 15 as I can get until my reps taper off from exhaustion and from conditioning. And then what's gonna happen is that's gonna carry over to next week where I'll be able to get more reps because my conditioning's better. It's always easier to get more reps than it is to get more weight on the barbell. It's always easier. I got 1 more minute and I'm gonna start this, guys. 1 more minute, let my heart calm down. Trying to breathe through it, man. I'm thinking about taking my shirt off. I'm kind of getting a little clammy here. That way you guys can see exactly how fat and gross I actually am. I'm really hairy right now too, man. I'm really hairy. I haven't done any manscaping in quite a while. So I got the total package, man. I'm fat, I'm hairy, I'm gross, I'm sweaty. Ooh, that is a combination right there for results. All right, here we go. Yep, come on, yep. Whew, all right, there's the first of 15. Yeah, take your breath out of you. Ooh. Do you think 1 kilogram? Okay, so 1 kilogram a month, that's like half a pound a week, because 2.2 pounds per kilogram. Remember, guy, I'm on the imperial system, I'm American. But I'll try to go with the metric system here. So if you go 1 kilogram per month, which is about half a pound a week, yeah, that's really good for a bulk, man. Because if you do a 12-week bulk, you're gonna end up going up, 3 kilograms, which is 6 pounds. And it's gonna be a lot harder to put fat on in 12 weeks doing that slow progression. But if you wanna see bigger jumps in strength, I would probably go for about maybe a pound per week, which I guess would be like 1.5 kilograms per month is what I would probably try to shoot for. Just because if I'm bulking, I wanna see my strength go up, because that's also important to me, because that's direct feedback if you're getting progress or not. Because ultimately, if you're getting stronger, you're getting bigger. You're putting in more work. You're getting out more effort. You know, more is more. More is always more. If you're going on a long bulk, you're saying I intend to bulk for a lot. So if you're going to go on like a 16-week, 20-week, or a 5-month or 6-month bulk, then yes, absolutely, probably 1 kilogram a month is perfect, because that's going to be a lot of weight in the end of it. All right, here we go. Time to grip and rip. I'm gonna clang and bang. This is set 2 right here. See if I get 15. Got to get at least 11. Yep. Yep. Come on. Come on. Woo, man, that is super taxing. Oh, that will definitely let you know where you stand in the realm of strength doing these for reps. Ooh. Looks like our viewers are dropping off, but that's okay. I appreciate every one of you stopping in and watching. This is our back night. For those of you who are joining us, we're doing our back assistance work. We are on a powerlifting program right now, but we're still building hypertrophy. We're trying to get more muscle, burn fat, and put on strength right now. So that's what we're doing. Not too concerned about burning fat, to be honest. More about getting stronger and doing it in a manner that will carry over to more hypertrophy as well. I just like pushing heavier weights for more reps versus doing, I like doing fast reps. I don't get joy out of doing slow, controlled, eccentric, elongated pauses. That's just not fun to me. Like trying to get as many reps as I could possibly get with a decent amount of weight, that's fun, man. That's a lot of fun. If you try to sit there and tell me that, oh, that's not fun to train like that, well, hey, that's your opinion, man. You're entitled to it. Who am I to say otherwise? How much weight is that right now? This is 170 pounds. So it's 3 45s and 135. That's what this is right now. So it's not too heavy. In the grand scheme of total weight, it's not crazy heavy, but doing 5 sets of wide grip pull downs for 200, doing 5 sets of 165 for 15 on barbell rows, and then doing 170 for 5 sets of 15. It starts to kind of like fatigue your cardio. But now this right here is 170. We're doing it for 5 sets of 15. So, resting 2 minutes between sets. Yep. Come on. 15, come on. Up. 3 for 15. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. And last week I think I got 15, 15, 15, 12, and then 10. So if I get at least 11 on my last set, I'll be happy. Whew. I did bulk till 177. Yeah, I mean, that's still good. Going from 77 down to 68, man, that's really good progress. Now, if you could bulk back up to that and keep the body fat down to where you are right now, man, that's some serious progress. Yeah, man, you should. It's tough, but like I was saying earlier, if you're doing, like 3 warm-up sets, then a top set, so let's say you do, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again because I don't know how many people just join us. Hold on, let me read this. Do you think it's an excessive back extend? Well, I don't know, like really like back extensions, good mornings, but it's all connected, man. Like it's really hard to work the lower back without working the hips and the hamstrings too. It's kind of like one and the same. It's like trying to work your back out with eliminating your biceps, man. You're going to get some carryover. Okay, so, but with this training, like I was telling people, if you're capable, if you do 4 sets total, and I mean you do a warm-up, a warm-up, a warm-up, then a top set. So let's just say bench press, okay? Let's say you do 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, and then 200 pounds. And you do 10 sets on each one. How much more were you capable of doing with that 200 on that last set? So you do 200 for 10. Now you move on to the next exercise. Okay, could you have done it again? Could you have done 200 for 10 more reps? What about 3 sets? What about 4 sets? What about 5 sets? If you're capable of doing more, was that really your maximum effort into that movement? Probably not. Now, if you're doing slow, controlled, you're gonna wear out faster. But if you're moving the weight steady and you're capable of doing more work, that means you're gonna get more volume, you're gonna get more workload. Let me do this set and I'll explain further in detail. Yep. Oh man, that's 4 for 15. One more. Okay, so like I was saying, if you could do 3, 4, 5 sets with the same weight, with the same reps, with a steady movement, let's say for 12 to 20 reps, let's go with 15. You do 15 reps with the same weight. Excuse me, I catch my breath. You're gonna get stronger faster than trying to use heavier weights with less reps or moderate weight with slow reps. If you use moderate weight with really slow reps, you're going to fatigue from your conditioning. You're going to gas out from the slow movements. If you can move a 50-pound dumbbell for 10, but you slow it down where you only get 6 reps, you're losing volume and you're losing work capacity. So if you could take that same 50 pounds and do it for 4 more reps, you just did, now that's 100 pounds. You just did 400 more pounds of work capacity with 4 more reps of volume. What do you think is going to carry you over more? Doing the slow, moderate, or doing the steady pace with more reps? You can always get stronger with a 20 rep set faster than a 3 rep max. If you're doing a 3 rep max, it's very hard to put another pound on the bar. But if you're doing a set of 20, and you could do another set of 20, and another set of 20, and another set of 20, like what I'm doing right here, 5 sets of 15. Well, last week, like I said, I did 15, 15, 15, 12, and then 10. Well, I just did 4 sets of 15. Last week, I was only able to get 12 on my 4th set. I just did 15. I'm about to do another set, and if I get 15, that's gonna be 8 more reps worth of volume than I got last week with the same weight, and then 170 times 8 worth of workload more than I did last week. Now, if I was doing this slow and controlled, you think, oh, that's time under tension. Okay, you do slow reps for 8, right? I do 15 reps moderately fast, a decent pace. The time under tension isn't that dramatically different. The only difference is I'm getting more workload and more volume. I'm getting rep volume and I'm getting more work capacity because I'm doing more reps than what you are. That slow isometric stretch, it has its place. It's incredibly important at points in time of the year. But you can't continuously do that all the time. You're not going to progress. You're not. You're just not. And if you want to get stronger so you can move heavier weights, and you take this in consideration, someone who can dumbbell press the 100-pound dumbbells for a set of 20 can use a lot more weight slowing down and stretching than someone who's struggling to do the 50, 60s for slow reps. Like the carryover is important for having strength to be able to move more weights. Okay. All right. I went over my time a little bit, but that's okay. All right. This is the last one right here for 15. If I get it, I've improved. The proof is in the pudding. Yep. Yep. Come on. 15. Last week, on my 4th, I did 12. My 5th, I did 10. Today, 170, 15 for all 5 sets. Guess what? My cardiovascular, my conditioning has gotten better from last week. Now, next week, guess what? I'm going to go up in weight, and that's going to make me stronger. I'm going to handle more reps and more weight, which is going to make me bigger. The more blood, the more reps, the more volume. Oh, man, I need to catch my breath. Oh, that was tough. I'm going to mark these numbers down. Yes, you do get stronger because your body does become more efficient at moving in that range of motion, absolutely. But also, as you get more efficient, you get stronger because you're capable of carrying, lifting more weight for more reps. So absolutely, yes. Exactly, so that's the same thing that happened to me. I slowed down the negatives. It was pausing at the stretch, which felt good in the beginning, and I got good pumps, and it felt great. But then as my workouts continued and the weeks went on, my weights got less and less and less, and I was able to handle less and less weight. It became more difficult to handle the same weights to the point where I actually had to start going down on the workload. And then that right there, I actually started losing size and muscle mass because my strength was declining. And like, I don't care what anybody says, guys. You have to get stronger if you want to be bigger. You can take any professional bodybuilder out there and lay them under 315 and they can all rep it, right? People say, well, bodybuilders don't train for strength, they train for hypertrophy, and you don't have to be strong to be big. Okay, anyone that can lay under 315 pounds and bench that for sets of 10 to 15, it's not weak. That is a very incredibly strong individual. Someone who could put 315, 405 on their back and do sets of 10 to 12 is an incredibly strong individual. And if you're squatting 135, 185 for a set of 8 and you're gassing and your legs can barely handle it, if you're doing dumbbell press for sets of 4 with 45-pound dumbbells and you're barely 22 kilograms or 20 kilograms and you're barely able to handle that for a set of 8, you're not going to be as big as the guys that are handling 300-400 pounds worth of weight. It's just not going to happen. You have to be strong in order to get bigger. It's just the way it goes. So I believe that there is a place for doing slow, controlled negatives and eccentrics and all that stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're trying to get bigger and stronger, you're going to have to work on lifting more weight. All right, let me go mark these numbers down before I forget them. And that's always a good feeling, man, when you can come to your board or open up your phone and go to your little chart and you're able to jot down a higher number than you did last week. Oh man, that is just such a good feeling. It is a feeling of progress, getting better. So now we are going to go to machine rows. All right. There we go. We're going to do some of these guys right here. I'm going to go further back at the angle so you guys can kind of see more. Yeah, I think that'll be better. What did we do these for? 55, right? Last week? Oh, let me go look. I'll go look. Okay. I keep these light, man. These feel a lot like dumbbell rows to me, but these, yeah, we did 55, so I'm going to do 60 tonight. I keep these light. I don't try to heave these much. Going to 60. That's per side, not total, so I do 10 reps on these. I keep the weight lighter, and I don't just cling and bang on these. I like to kind of control and feel these. Let's see. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It is a really good feeling whenever you get to watch those numbers go up. It's direct feedback that you're getting better. So I like to do these one at a time. I only do 3 sets of these. I don't do 5 like everything else. This is just to kind of get that lower lat. So I was saying earlier, if you want to get your middle back, you bring your elbow out. If you want to target more of your lat, keep your elbow in. So on these seated machines, I like to pull the elbow in to the side, and that lights everything up in here down to the hip where the lat ties in into the shoulder blade. So that's why I like to do these like that. And I keep it light. I don't pause on these, but I just kind of move fluently. I'm not trying to just like heave as much as I can. So by the time I get to these, man, my back is pretty much spent. This is just like the cherry on top. And if you don't have a machine like this, just do dumbbell rows, because this feels exactly like a dumbbell row. And the reason why I don't do dumbbell rows is because I have this piece of equipment. And by the time I get to this part of my training, my back is so fatigued, I don't want to have to bend over and brace no more. I just want to be able to squeeze and pull with the lat. Appreciate all you guys stopping in and checking out the video, man. You have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. I know it's just 2 fat guys working out, like what could they possibly know? But probably a little bit more than what you think. Well, there you go, man. I'm glad I was able to answer it before you got it. Well, I mean, not really. I guess great minds think alike. And there's a difference between a dumbbell row, and here's the thing that cracks me up. Like, everybody wants to name an exercise after them these days. Like, you have a barbell row, then you have a Yates row, then you have a dumbbell row, a croc row, you have a Zecher squat. You have all these names of all these movements, but they're all generally the same thing. If you don't know what a croc row is, so like a dumbbell row is like this right here, okay? All a croc row is you turn your body in towards the weight like this, and you pull up here. This is a croc row. A dumbbell row, you're gonna pull back. So Can they see me on this bench? Turn it so they can see me on the bench. So I can, okay. So if you want to do a dumbbell row, you can pull out here, and that's going to get more of the center back. But if you want to get your lat, you want to bring your elbow to your hip. So you're not bringing your elbow up, you're bringing your elbow back, okay? So if you keep your elbow to your side and you bring your elbow back to your hip, you're going to hit that lat really, really well, and you can squeeze and contract, right? So that's two different variations of a dumbbell row. If you want to get more of your center back, right, in your trap area along the inside of the shoulder blade, or if you want to hit the lat more. There's the two variations. Now, there's also a movement, like I said earlier, called the croc row. And all the croc row is you're going to bend over, and you're going to grab onto something to brace yourself, and instead of being like this, you're going to be here, and you're going to pull the weight up like this. And that's all the croc row is. It allows you to use a lot more weight, and your legs are out of the way, and there's no bench. So you can just really heave as much weight as you possibly can on the movement. And that's one of those grip and rip kind of movements. But ultimately, no matter what you do, it should be pain-free. If you feel pain in anything you're doing, you should probably adjust your form or move to something different. No matter what movement you do, it should be pain-free. So I talked about form earlier in another video, like even side laterals. If you side lateral here and it hurts your shoulders and clicks, but you can side lateral here and it doesn't hurt, do side laterals out here. It's not that crucial. Like if you're doing a movement that causes you pain, the chances are that's not, even if it looks like textbook perfect form, like squats, if you're doing textbook squats, but your knees or your back is hurting you really bad, stop squatting like that, because that's not a good form for your frame. Or there's something underlining, there's an underlining issue, like your hips or your glutes or your adductors or your erectors, or something else going on with you that you're not aware of that's causing your knees to hurt like that. And you shouldn't be doing that, because ultimately, working out should be fun and pain-free. I mean, you work out to become stronger, not to become brittle. Pain-free range of movement's the best way to injuries too, by the way. Right, and when you slow them down, you're gonna lose reps. So going from 35 kilograms to 20 for 7, down to 7, you get lighter with the same reps. Whenever you slow down with a 4 to 6 second pause and you're doing slow negatives, you're always gonna lose strength, because you're gonna gas out from fatigue, not because there's a lack of strength. It's not that you don't have the strength to push the weight, it's just you don't have the endurance to push that weight that slow for that long. So it comes down to like an endurance thing, like a conditioning. So you can get stronger doing those movements in that way. You absolutely can. It's just a lot harder, it takes a lot longer, and honestly, to me, it's just not as fun. And also too, as you lose weight, you're gonna lose strength, especially if you're cutting. It doesn't matter what routine you do. If you're in a cut and you're not eating enough food and you're losing body weight, you're gonna be getting weaker. It's not, there's some outliers where you can get stronger, especially for newbies and beginners. You can get stronger while you're losing a lot of body fat. But when you've been doing this for years and years and years, it gets to a point that when you go into a deficit, you feel it, and you feel it hard. And what suffers is the amount of weights that you can use. So the best thing to do when you're in a hard cut is reduce either the workload by reducing the weight, or reduce the amount of working sets and reps. So that way you can work on stimulating the muscle while not having to go and kill yourself doing all this work in a deficit and not being able to recover. But when you're bulking and you're eating enough food, man, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks and just go to town at it. That was 3 sets, right? Okay, cool. Whew. Well, okay, if your right pec and your front delt is more sore every time, is it just that side? Is it just that side that's getting sore? Because if it is, you might be overcompensating with that side because of injury or fear of injury, and you might be overcompensating, you have imbalances. So, I mean, a good way to correct imbalances is either to do dumbbells or machine work, doing like ISO incline, decline press, or you could do one arm at a time. But it also could be an impingement issue where you're not lined up correctly, like you need to do like corrective stretching to kind of line everything back up. It's definitely a good back workout right there. It's tough, guys. This type of training is tough. When you first start doing it, it's going to feel almost impossible to get this much of workload in, but as you build into it and you get better and better, you'll be able to get more and more. Now, we're going to go to the upper back neck, otherwise known as the traps. Is what we're going to be working now. Not done yet. We're done with back, but we're not quite done yet. We still got some more work ahead of us. Let's see if I put it right here. I don't know if that's a good angle. Do I need to move that? You guys can see just fine, or do I need to move that? Because I'm going to be doing shrugs. Is that, y'all see that? How's that look? You bring your phone over, look. Can you see everything in that, or I need to move the phone back? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna mark down that 60, because we did 60 for 10, and then last week on shrugs, we did 205 for 5 sets of 20. So now we're gonna go up to 225 for 5 sets of 20. $225 for 5 sets, and this is going to be our last movement for anything related to back. Only training everything once a week right now, so I'm training incredibly hard. If I'm training everything twice a week, I don't train with this kind of volume and intensity, but when I'm only training once a week, man, I go ham. I train everything incredibly hard. And also with shrugs, what I do something different than what a lot of people do. I use an underhand grip. I used to always go double overhand when I did shrugs, but for some reason, well, I know why, but when I do double overhand, I'm always racking my junk, man, and it's so uncomfortable. But when I go underhand, it pulls the bar in front of me. If I go like this, the bar is on me. If I flip my hands over, my arms keep the bar from running into me, so the whole racking my junk is not an issue no more. Plus, it just feels completely different than doing a double overhand, and I actually much prefer this. It feels like it pulls my shoulders in a better position with my neck, and I've had some neck impingement for a while, but man, it seems like ever since I started doing these, that neck impingement's gone away. Oh man, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I used to do behind the back shrugs. When I went to commercial gym, I had access to a Smith machine. So I love doing those, but since I don't have access to a Smith machine no more, I just do either dumbbell or barbell. But like I said, I do an underhand grip and it feels better. It's not uncomfortable. My left side feels. We used to do them on the other rack. Yeah. Okay, so you probably have impingement in your neck then, man. If you're feeling that nerve in the left side down like that, remember your nerves travel down. Hold on a minute. Okay, so hold on, Richard, come here. Okay, so your central nervous system is your spine. Nerves run down and to the end. So if you have impingement and you have a shifted vertebrae that's not in place or a bulging disc, the pinch could be here and you can feel it down in your wrist if that's where the end of the nerve is, but the agitation's up here. If you have a knot anywhere along here, if your scapula is pulled because you have tight muscles and it's pulling out of alignment, you could get a pinch in here or a pinch in here, and that nerve can be traveling down and feeling it in here. A lot of times you need to work on this area in here because you could get locked up real tight, and if this gets tight and it pulls, it will pull and it will pull. If you get tight in here, it will pull and it will pull and it'll put impingement. So a lot of times working on this part of the back or working all underneath here, like people say get like a foam roller and lay on it. Foam rollers aren't hard enough. That's good. If you get like a PVC pipe, like a 3-inch heavy gauge PVC pipe or like a round bar, like a solid steel bar, and lay on that, you'll feel it and you'll know if you have knots in there or not. You can even take a massage gun and use that, but it can't get as deep as that bar can. And laying on that, it's immediate feedback and you'll know if something's locked up, because I have issues with this shoulder doing that too. And that's where I get a lot of my impingements under my arm. So keep that in mind, man. Pain always travels down. So if you're feeling it in this area here and you've done nothing to this area, a lot of times your elbow and wrist pain is coming from there. So if you have a bigger range of motion on one side than the other, it could be because you're crooked and you don't feel like it because, well, your head, your equilibrium will put your head back on straight. Even though you're all jacked up like this, instead of standing like this, your heads are going to always be on straight. I had a buddy who stood like this, and he didn't even realize it because his head was straight, because his equilibrium tries to level your head out. But you looked at him in the mirror and he's all cockeyed like this. And it's like, dude, that's why your back is always hurting. So he bought an inversion table and started doing that. And then after about 4 weeks, he straightened out and his stuff stopped hurting him. Sometimes you just got to decompress. I like that underhand grip, man. It feels good. Ooh, let me get a water. Let me get some water real quick. Come on, push it. Try harder. Try harder. Be better. No. Ooh, man. It seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of volume and a lot of stuff, and that's because, well, guys, it is. I'm going to end the video after this because after this we have biceps and then we have abs. I'm going to do 5 sets of straight bar curl, and then I do 5 sets of preacher curl with the same style of training, and then I do decline crunches, and then I do lying leg reverse crunches, I guess, same style. But I'm not going to record none of that because this is already kind of getting to be very long live stream, which unless you guys want me to keep going, I'll keep going. But I know it's getting kind of long. nice thick neck. Yeah, those teeter inversion tables, man, being able to decompress like the hips and lower back, it even decompresses the upper body too, man. A lot of people don't realize how good those are, even for the upper, because if you could buy one, the Mr. Teeter, and you can go full inversion and free hang, you can even kind of hold on to something and pull yourself into the ground and stretch your upper back and neck as well too. There's even decompression things you could buy on Amazon. Like just look up neck decompression, and it's like a little dill you hang over your door jamb with a sandbag, and it just pulls in your neck and decompresses your spine. Those work really, really good too. Huh? A forever sleep machine. No, not a forever sleep machine. But it's just basically it's a strap that goes over your head and it pulls in your neck. And then like I have a cable attachment system. So what I do is I just hook it up to the cable and I'll select like 60 pounds and I'll just sit there and it just pulls a vertical load on my neck and I'll feel my spine like, and I'll feel it pop 4 or 5 times. And then man, it's instant relief. So years ago, I got such bad impingement on my neck, like a bulging disc, I couldn't turn my head. I'd have to turn my whole body to the right. And I was going to the chiropractor, doing deep tissue work, everything. Couldn't get it to release, couldn't figure out why it was bothering me. And this went on for a couple weeks till finally I was like, I got to figure something out. I started looking into traction and decompression. So I found this little traction thing. And since I have a cable stack, I did that. And then I did it twice a day, about 20 seconds, let up, go back down for 20 seconds, come up, go back down for 20 seconds. And I did that for about a week. And after about a week, pop, 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 pop. And then, man, instantly my neck felt great. And anytime my neck starts getting tight or bothering me, I do that and it fixes me right up. Just don't go too heavy on it because, I mean, I'm sure there's a point where it's like, you know, maybe too much weight. But yeah, like Richard's saying over there, the forever sleep machine. But that's always worked for me really well. All right, one more of these. One more. Yeah, it does help a lot with knees as well. It helps decompress them. I mean, you think about it, you're standing up all day and gravity's just constantly pushing down on you and beating you up. Then you go to the gym and you work out, you put more load on your back and you're constantly compressing yourself. So having something to help decompress and open the joints up and allow blood flow into those areas and fluid, you know, well, I mean blood flow, not actual water retention, because that's inflammation and that's actually really bad. So if you have inflammation, the best thing to do is get the inflammation out as fast as possible, because that's a form of arthritis that causes joint damage and joint pain. But if you could get stimulated blood flow in there, now you're healing the joint, you're fixing it, and you're correcting what's wrong with the area. That's why luckily I was blessed so long with being so light that I didn't do much damage to it. Yeah, it's bad when you can't turn your head. Yeah, anything that affects your range of motion, your mobility in your neck is always a downside. So I mean, Like I said, doing anything you do to keep that area healthy, because you got to use that the rest of your life. That's something that you're always going to need to be able to look up or look down or look over, driving, traffic, anything, you know. Okay, here's the last set of these. Another thing you can do is one-arm dumbbell holds. Grab a dumbbell, a decently heavy dumbbell, and hold it and let it stretch that one trap down. Grab it from the other side, let it stretch, and then grab both. And don't shrug, just sit there and just let it pull everything in your neck and stretch it from both sides. And just strap up and hold them for like 60 seconds and let it just pull everything on your traps and your necks. And then doing that with decompression can help stretch and alleviate, because if you have a pinch on this side, right, and you stretch, if you lean into that pinch, you're causing more damage, right? But if you stretch those muscles and tissues, you're alleviating that and you're opening up that vertebrae. It's hard to know which side it's coming from, man. I'm not a doctor, so take it for what it's worth. All right, I'm gonna mark these down real quick. 225 for 20. Yeah, the only thing I like to get hype on when I'm working out is my T-bar rows, man. I try to stay pretty consistent with my energy and my hooting and hollering. I try to not have any huge adrenaline dumps. But man, when I hit those T-bar rows, man, I just love those T-bar rows. I like hitting those. Last set.
I'll be inside when you're ready for me.
Okay. Guys, we have been going for an hour and a half. 93 minutes we've been at it. 93 minutes we've been going at it, so. All right, I'm about to end the video here. So if you guys have any final questions or thoughts, please by all means ask. I'm about to cut it off because I'm about to just train my biceps and my abs, and this is already going to be a very long video for YouTube to buffer, to upload and stuff like that. Plus, I don't really know how interesting it is to sit there and watch someone work out. But I guess I've been pretty talkative. I'm trying to entertain you guys. I'm trying to interact with y'all, but more people ask questions, I have more stuff to entertain with, or more interaction. So ask away. Unless you guys want me to keep going, then I'll keep the video rolling. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you for the sub, man. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to do 3 of these a week. I'm trying to record my videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Monday is my lower body day. Wednesday is my chest assistance work, and then Friday is my back assistance work. So, because right now I'm doing kind of a powerlifting routine, and so I split my days up to what I need. So, like I said, I'll hit like this coming up Monday. I'm going to be doing heavy deadlifts with assistance work, and then follow that by squats and then assistance work, and then like I said, Wednesdays would be chest and all that other stuff. So tune in. I try to get in here around 4:30 every day. Well, the 3 days I work out, I try to get in here, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:30 and work at Central Time. So I'd love for you to be able to join me and chime in, man, and interact. All right, I'm gonna keep it rolling for a little bit. Keep it rolling. You guys have any other questions? I'm gonna end it after my second set of curls. That's why I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna show you all my awesome ugly form on these guys. This is also, here's a tip too. I, for the longest time, had a hard time feeling curls in my biceps no matter what I did. It wasn't until I grabbed 2 fingers inside the knurling that I started feeling it in my biceps. Whenever I do straight bar curls or dumbbell curls or anything, I never really feel it in my biceps at all. But when, for some reason, when I grab a closer grip on a straight bar, I guess because it supinates the wrist harder, it targets 100% of my biceps so strong. And then whenever I do easy curls, I also feel it in my biceps extremely hard. Dumbbells and straight bar curls, cable curls, machine curls have never been any good feeling sensation except for spider curls on a bench doing dumbbells. But other than that, the only time I've ever really strongly felt it in my biceps is by going narrow on the straight bar and an easy curl. So those are the two things that I do for my biceps, because those are the things I feel it mostly in. Because I do so much back work, my biceps are getting a lot of indirect work. Plus, I do this for 5 sets of 20, which is a ton of volume. So actually, hold on, what did we do last week? No, we did 20, so we're going up. Put a 5. So we're going up to 55 pounds tonight for 5 sets of 20 is what we're doing. Absolutely. You have a good night, man. I wish you the best too. And yeah, we're in this together, man. We're going to push that progress together. All right. Whew. Man, it starts to burn around 12. Real good. Okay, all right, guys, that's going to be it for the video, man. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'll see all you guys if y'all want to tune back in on Monday. You have a good night, and thanks for stopping in and watching.